I'm at the Asetek headquarters in Aalborg, Denmark, where we've been able to speak to André Eriksen, CEO of Asetek, to find out everything there is to know about these state-of-the-art racing rigs. Sim racers have so much choice nowadays when it comes to, like you said, wheelbases. Brands like Turtle Beach are even getting involved in the sim racing game now as well. So, yeah, how would you make your products resonate? Is it that you have that high quality that you think no one else really matches?
Yes, but I think definition of quality, we have to be careful. In my view, Moza and Logitech, and it's not low quality. I think if my first Logitech steering wheel, it's probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years old, it still works. So the quality is actually great. The performance, not so much, because that's the compromise. You cannot have super high-end performance with a very low price. So I think, yes, the performance part is where we can play in. And then I also think that we have a very open ecosystem. So if you buy some of our stuff, you can actually use steering wheels and wheelbases from other manufacturers across. And I think that's an advantage because our wheelbases are acknowledged for some of the best force feedback out there. But to me, steering wheels are like shoes. It's fashion. And we cannot do 500 different steering wheels. But you can buy an Asetek wheelbase and then you can buy a steering wheel from another vendor and put it on our wheelbase. And I think that's also important. It's actually a little bit of everything. So for example, if you look at our high-end pedals, they are die cast. And for the environment, that's actually it is a friendly process because there's not really any waste. You apply the fluid aluminum into a cast, and if the item is good, it's good. If it's not, you just put it back in the ball. Whereas a lot of others, they're doing CNC manufacturing. There's a lot of waste that you then have to make into new aluminum and stuff. It's not the primary reason why we did it. The primary reason was, of course, to get this great balance between performance and cost. But it is actually a very friendly process. In terms of, let's say, some of the more exotic, the composite materials, I think if you look at our products, the whole range, you can see it's the same family. If you look at a lot of our competitors' products, take off the branding, you would actually be in doubt what belongs where. And a lot of them use this, folded sheet metal, and we want to do something different. And then kind of like to push technology. I think when you can do composite materials, for example, our pedals down there now, the low-end pedals, if you look at them, there are two ways to look at them. One is, oh, that's plastic, that's disappointing. The other way is, whoa, that's plastic. It's incredible that can be done. And that is because these plastics materials are actually used in the automotive industry as direct replacement for metals. And the obvious reason is for them, of course, cost, but also sustainability. Being able to use plastics instead of iron and instead of aluminum is a big win for everyone. So it's a combination of industrial design and also that we want to push the boundaries of what can actually be done. And it's difficult to tell for people who are not working these things every day, but it's been a big challenge to make these pedals to work, just from a tooling perspective, and it's not easy.
Why is now the right time for Asetek to launch a more budget-friendly, affordable line?
Well, if I could have had it out 2 years ago, that would have been even better timing. But the idea was, the philosophy was and is, start in the high end, take all the learnings we get from the high end and try to make it more affordable, simply to reach more customers.
How do these products stand out against, the Logitechs, the Thrustmasters, the Mozas? What's the unique selling point that this offers?
We have this super high-end gear today, Invicta, Forte and La Prima, that's our high-end stuff. And we have gotten really good reviews, both from the press, from reviewers and from end users. But it is also very expensive. It's expensive stuff. And my hope is that the feeling you get from our high-end equipment is also what you can sense in our mainstream equipment, meaning that you get the high-end sensation for a little bit more than the Logitechs and the Thrustmasters and the Mozas. And then I think a very unique thing about it is, for example, the pedals. You can take the cheapest pedals we have and upgrade them in different steps. So at the end of the day, they will be like the Invictas with full hydraulic brakes, etc. And as far as I know, nobody else is offering that.
And like you said, you started with the high end and you're known for the high end products. So what was the biggest challenge you faced in creating this more budget-friendly option while also maintaining the high standards that you want to hit?
I think the biggest challenge is Moza. They have done really great and they have a lot of good products for very low prices. As you know, we are sitting here in Europe right now where salary levels are a little bit differently. So I would say that's the biggest challenge for us as a company, because I think we can buy stuff in China as cheaply as Moza can. It's just the extra layer of cost that we have. And of course we need to bake that into our product, so at the end of the day we can pay our employees a salary. So I think that the cost challenge overall, not just component level, but overall is our biggest challenge.
And you mentioned you're now going towards the mainstream, so the consoles. It's going to be out on Xbox, correct? Yeah. Is there a reason that it's just Xbox for now and not PlayStation, or is that something you got planned down the line?
If it was up to me, it would be both. But it takes two to tango, and at least for now, Microsoft for us was the easiest to dance with, so that's why it ended up like that.
And you mentioned earlier about how you think the pedals are such an important part when it comes to to sim racing. So with this new, more affordable line, what are some specifications about the pedals and the wheel and the rig itself that stand out to you, that you think can make you stand out in that sort of price range on the market?
Yeah, but again, if you look at the brake pedal, just the brake pedal, the throttle is the throttle. Some like it hard, some like it soft, some like it short, some like it almost like other aspects of life, huh? That's opinionated. Same with the clutch. But the brake, you need a hard and short brake to be really quick. But now that we are targeting, let's say, more gamers than racers, we also have to acknowledge that if you have a 7-year-old kid who just wants to have fun, we cannot just have a hard brake pedal that the kid can't push. So we need to do both. And that is actually what our pedals are capable of. So first of all, if you use it with a table here on your carpet, you can adjust just by flipping a cap on the bottom side. You can have the pedals in a 45 degrees angles, meaning that when you push more downwards than forward, because elsewise they would not work on a carpet. But the very same pedal, when you say, okay, now I want something more than just my table and my chair, now I want a rig, then you can flip the plate, adjust the pedal arm in 90 degrees, and now it's rig compatible. On top of that, there is this element of this two-stage brake, as we call it, that's pretty hard, but not too hard. But if you then, let's say, become more enthusiastic about it and you want to pursue a real racing car even more, instead of having to buy new pedals, you simply take our brake cylinder off, buy our, for example, the Forte version, put that in with the load cell, and then you have much, much greater brake for relatively few money without having to buy new pedals. And if you want to go full Monday, then you can buy the hydraulic cylinder from the Invicta, you can buy the throttle upgrade kit and the clutch upgrade kit, where the clutch will not only be a clutch, it will actually also feel like a real clutch in a real car.
Say you release it, it comes out, it does really well. Would you ever consider even going lower than that in the future with different rigs, or is that something you think maybe is too risky because you don't want to lose that performance that you have?
It's difficult to answer, but of course there's also volume here. So the more volume we get, the further down we will of course also be able to push prices. But what I can tell you, what we're not going to do, we are not going to go to the same vendors as some of the really cheap guys do and buy the same stuff and just compete on the price of iron and paint. That's not really. We have looked at many things over the years, and I don't know if you are aware, but we had a pretty large data center division where we liquid cooled data centers, and we could save a lot of energy, a lot of carbon. I mean, it was massive. But it was 2010 and probably 10 years forward from that. We were out too early, I would say, so we shut it down. But right now with AI data centers going crazy, you know, we may or may not reopen that again. So that would be an obvious one. It is difficult because I'm pretty enthusiastic about it myself, and I would have liked to do a motion platform because it's a lot of fun. But $5,000 is like, okay, there's no business in it. So that's the direct opposites that you talk about here. And another perhaps more realistic thing, for our hydraulic pedals, so the Invicta pedals, because it's hydraulic, we will implement an ABS system from a real car. And that's something I'm super excited to get out there. And our high-end customers, they're also super excited about it. But if we then at the other end look at, we need to get something out everyone can afford so we can get some volume into the business. You know, it is a little bit, you know, we look at the roadmap and then we try to say that at all tiers, now we have 4 tiers, we need something new coming out every year. But if I just have to follow my heart, then I would do all the high-end stuff all day long. And to me, it's don't hear it as business is a necessary evil, because I don't look at it like that. I think it would be great if we can conquer some of the mass market as well. So I'm also passionate about that.